Hey, awesome people of YouTube, welcome back to another Diablo 4 video. In this one, I'll be showing you one of the leveling builds for Druid. This one is a Pulverize. You will need some of the aspects to make it a lot better. Don't look at my normal gear. That's what I'm running. Um, We'll talk about spirit wounds and abilities, but before we get into it, I just want to say, if we can get to 500 subscribers by November 1st, we'll be doing a $50 gift card giveaway. If you get it by November 12th, we'll be doing a $25 gift card giveaway. With that said, let's get into the build. Well, since leveling Druid is a little annoying compared to other classes, you're gonna need a decent build. This build that I'm going to be showcasing is Pulverize. It will need you to get used to it because you're going to be using a lot of spirit. There's a couple different versions. I'm going to kind of touch up on it. But you don't need any uniques because it's leveling. So one of the biggest things you're going to need is the shockwave aspects, where Pulverize creates a shockwave that travels outward or forward, dealing normally between 60 to 100% of its damage to target and path. Since it's on two-handed weapon, you're doing between 120 to 200. That's what you want, and you want to put green gems in there for more crit strike damage to vulnerable enemies, right? You also want to have Pulverize is now an Earth skill. After casting Pulverize, Tectonic Spikes continue to deal X amount of damage over 2 seconds, which is the aspect of Earth Sign Horror. Another aspect that helps a lot is damage from Earth skills slow enemies hit by 40 between 25 to 50% for 5 seconds, which is massive because slow is a CC, and it helps with one of the aspects that I apparently forgot to bring. It's you deal more crit damage against CC'd enemies. Now the aspect that's good is your core skills deal up between 20 to 40% increased damage based on amount of Fortify, and since you're in the Werebear form, you're gonna have a decent amount of Fortify, so you'll be getting more damage. We have Ring of Rampaging Werebeast. Werebeast is a good aspect because it increases your duration of Grizzly Rage up to 5 seconds. In addition, critical check with Grizzly Rage is active. Well, while Grizzly Rage is active, increases your critical strike damage by 10%, duration up to maximum of 200%, and it's multiplicative. Another one is Trample Slide. Aspect of the Trampled Earth, where you trample now summon 6 landslide pillars of Earth during its duration. They deal X amount of up to 90% normal damage, I believe, or X amount of normal damage. Trample is now also a nature magic and a nerf skill. Another good one is the aspect where if you use Poison Creep is active, cast Landslide in a circle around you. Every skill deal up to 20% increased damage to poison enemies. And if you use Earthen Bulwark, gaining extra Bulwark is nice. There's no aspects where I forget the name, but Landslide activates twice, and it deals up to 12% extra damage, which will stack with Trample Landslide. So that's the aspects that you want. The biggest things that you definitely want is just the Shockwave. Everything else is just extra. But if you have Shockwave, you're good to go with that. But you can go without it. Let's look at the abilities. I didn't put all the points because there's some slight variations. First, you can go either Wind Shear or what's that? Earth Spike. Earth Spike has a little bit range, but it's also an Earth skill. So if you want to just prioritize Earth skill, it's better. Wind Shear is just a little more distance, and it makes it to where you make enemies vulnerable, unlike Earth Spike, because you have a chance to stun or immobilize. So for the sake of vulnerability, you want to go Wind Shear, then go into Enhanced Wind Shear for that 20% chance to make enemies vulnerable for 4 seconds, and then in Fierce Wind Shear, where each enemy hit by a Wind Shear increases your movement speed by 5%, 5 seconds up to 20%, which allows you to move faster. And as we know, you go fast, you get stuff done. In your core skill, you obviously take Pulverize, all 5 ranks. Oh, by the way, for Wind Shear, you just put 1 rank. but Pulverize you put 5 ranks because that's your damage. Then you take Enhanced Pulverize, where your next Pulverize will overpower every 12 seconds while you remain healthy. You know, overpower is just a huge amount of damage. It deals bonus damage based on the sum of your current life and fortified life. And being healthy means being above 80% of life. You also take Raging Pulverize. Enemies overpowered by Pulverize are stunned for 2 seconds. You know, you can go Primal Pulverize, because if you want to make him do reduced damage, that's also fine. You take Heart of the Wild, not because you want max spirit, but because it gives you opens up the abundance, give you more spirit generation from basic skill, and wild impulses, where your core skills cost 9% more, but deal 15% more damage, which is why you also take abundance. You take Predator Instinct, critical strike against close enemies is increased by 6%. And you be attacking pretty much close range, so more crit. For your defensive skills, you put 1 point into Earthen Bulwark. Then you take Enhanced Earthen Bulwark, where it makes you unstoppable while active, which is huge. And then you can take Preserving Bulwark, right? Where you cast it, it fortifies you. You definitely don't want an 8. But yeah, take Preserving Bulwark just for fortify. Gives you more damage with other stuff. You can take Ancestral Fortitude, where it increases your non-physical resistance by 15%. Up to 15% if you're at rank 3. You also, if you want to, you can take Vigilance, where you can get up to 15% damage reduction for 6 seconds after using defensive skill. You can take Nature's Reach down at the companion skills, where you deal 9% increased damage to distant enemies, doubles the bonus to their slowed, stunned, immobilized, or knocked back. Right? It's just with a shockwave allows you to do a little more damage. If you want with the Poison Creep last side, you take a Poison Creep, 1 point. You take Enhanced Poison, and then you can take like a point of Social Fortitude to go with Broader Poison Creeper. Critical strike chances increased by 20% against enemies strangled by Poison Creep, which is really nice against elites. Down at Wrath skills, you take Trample, just 1 point. Ooh, I messed that one up. You take 1 point. Then you take Enhanced Trample. Trample deals 150% bonus damage. This bonus reduced by 50% for each enemy hit after the first one. With a Trample Slide, where it casts Landslide, it's really nice just for extra damage if need be. You take Savage Trample, just so you can get a little more spirit generation. You also take Mending. While in Werebear form, you receive 5% additional healing from all sources. It's good with healing potions, and if you have vampiric powers that heal you when you cast. You take Provocation. While you remain in Werebear form for at least 16 seconds, your next non-defensive skill will overpower. And overpower pretty nice. You take Crushing Earth. Earth skills deal 50% increased damage against slow, stunned, or immobilized, or knockback enemies. Again, more damage is always nice. You take Stun Guard. While you have 45 for over 50% of your max life, your Earth skill deals 12% more damage. Again, damage nice. You take Safeguard. Critical strike for Earth skills fortify you. And, fortify is really nice. Because fortified characters take 10% reduced damage. You become fortified when you have as much fortify as your current life. Allows you to be tanky. Down at ultimate skills, you take Grizzly Rage, because Grizzly Rage gives you unstoppable for 10 seconds, and you gain bonus damage and damage reduction. And it increases your damage for 3 seconds while in this form. You also take Prime Grizzly Rage, where it makes it unstoppable for 6 seconds. Extra, you take Supreme Grizzly Rage, where it gives you 8% of your maximum life. It's 45 per second while in Grizzly Rage. So normally it's 10 seconds, and then you can get 5 more seconds for 5 kills. But if you have the aspect, where is it at? Of Rampaging Werebeast, it increases by another 5 seconds, so you can get up to up to 20 seconds. And that give you a lot more damage, because remember, for each second while in the unstoppable dire werebear form, you get 3% more damage. You take Quick Shift. While in shapeshifting skill, while when a shape-shifting skill transforms into a different form, deals 15% increased damage. Again, more damage, nice. And since you'll be shape-shifting between human and werebear form, you're gonna need it, right? And in the Keystone passives, you take Ursa and Strength, where you gain 20% of 20% additional max life while in the werebear form, and for 3 seconds after leaving it. While healthy, you deal 25% increased damage and 25% increased overpower damage. If you don't want Ursa and Strength, you can go with Earth and Might, where damaging enemies with the Earth skills has up to 5% chance to restore all of your spirit and causes your attacks to be guaranteed crit strike for 5 seconds. And then this chance increased by 10% for crit strikes, and 10% of the target is stunned, immobilized, or knocked back. Right? So that's pretty nice. For your spirit boons, there's a bit of different stuff, but you pretty much go with the same things. Obviously, you're gonna need to max it out, which will cost a little bit. You definitely would want Obsidian Slam, Pack Leader, if you take, Poison Creep. If you don't, you want to take Calamity, where it extends the duration of your ultimate skill, aka the Grizzly Rage, by 25%. You definitely want Scythe Talents, where it gives you 5% increased crit strike chance. Okay, well, crit, best. You want Swooping Attacks, where you gain 10% attack speed, allows you to generate more of your spirit, so you can use your Pulverize more. And you want to take Wariness, where you take 10% reduced damage from elites. If you don't want the swooping attacks, you can go for Combo for Storm, where Lucky Hit, Nature Magic skills have up to 10% chance to reduce the cooldown of your ultimate skill by 2 seconds. Allows you to cast the Grizzly Rage a lot more. So that's pretty much the leveling build. You just smack around enemies with your basic skill, then you Pulverize when you can. Right? With a Shockwave, you can position yourself to where it will hit with the original Shockwave, not Shockwave, sorry, the original Pulverize slam on the ground, and then a Shockwave, so you can double dip. I believe it's still there. But with that said, don't forget to stay awesome, and remember, if you can get to 500 subscribers by November 1st, we'll be doing $50 gift card giveaway. If we get it by November 12th, it will be $25 gift card giveaway. But with that said, don't forget to stay awesome. I'll see you in the next one, and bye-bye.